Hey, how is everybody? I think we're gonna give this a few minutes just to kind of get started on everything. Sorry, I think I froze there for a second. You'll have to let me know if you hear me or not. Okay, well, we're having some storms here, so this might be kind of a quick chat. Because although it's very light outside, there's a lot of storms, a lot of lightning. I actually just got home, like literally walked through the door not even 15 minutes ago. So it's been a fun, crazy, yet productive day today. Also, happy Memorial Day weekend. I didn't realize that when we booked this trip that this was going to be over a holiday weekend, but happy Memorial Day weekend to everyone that we are recognizing in our armed forces. So thank you so much for the services that you've provided or are still providing to our country. We are truly, truly, truly forever indebted to you for your services there. So let's get started for just a little bit. Nothing too much, but I did want to let you know, just because it's kind of different and things are ever evolving with Disney Cruise Line and stuff. So I just wanted to let you know what our experience has been thus far about booking, then everything you need to get covered and done before you sail, and then once you actually get to the port. So as you can see, this big, huge folder is all of our documents that we're taking with us to the port. And what this is going to do is going to have all of our important documentations, all of our boarding paperwork, whether we pass through online check-in and all the different safe passage and everything. So we'll go over everything a little bit more in depth. So earlier this month, we made the decision to kind of switch some things around and do this cruise. So we are going to be on the Disney Dream for 4 nights. That's going to start tomorrow. So we board tomorrow. Because we had so much or such a short window of time from booking to actually sailing, we've got kind of everything in like an expedited process, so to speak. So that being said, let me take you through everything. So we booked, and the first thing you're going to want to do is download the Disney Cruise Line Navigator app. So not only will this app work with you at home, but it will also work for you whenever you are there on the ship. So it's going to be your main form of like communication whenever you go to sail and everything. So let me show you here. So this is Disney Cruise Line. It's going to show you everything. Oh. Trying to show you the countdown here. Look how cute. And then they do all the different kinds of characters here. So that way you've got a real live, tangible countdown to kind of go off of. Again, because we have booked so late and because our family is so large, we are actually not assigned a family deluxe ocean view stateroom with veranda. We are in 2 deluxe ocean view staterooms with veranda. However, because we're one family, and our kids outweigh the adults, they are connecting our staterooms for us. So we did get connecting staterooms. We'll be side by side. There's going to be a door that goes in between 2 of the rooms. And because we're one family, we're going to actually have like the veranda balcony usually has a divider between those 2 rooms. They're going to take that divider down for us. So it's going to look like an extra large veranda balcony there with the railings. So I'm really pumped about that. So that being said, what all did we need to do? So good question. When you are sailing, this is a closed loop sailing, so you don't necessarily need a passport in order to sail. However, they are super duper handy. If you're not sailing with your passport, you're going to need a valid form of ID, like a state government issued ID, some sort of, official ID card, and a birth certificate. So either a passport and driver's license or state ID or a birth certificate and your ID. So 2 forms of ID there. I've got everybody's here in my folder. Since Disney Cruise Line is now currently requiring anyone age 5 or older to be vaccinated, then you will also need your vaccination cards as well. Sorry, you're probably going to start hearing all that in lightning and everything. So here's like Devin's cards. So you're going to need a vaccination card for every single member of your party. So we've got all of ours. So Nat isn't quite 5 yet. So we have hers, her paperwork for her birth certificate. However, because she's not vaccinated, Disney Cruise Line says that's fine. They're not able to be vaccinated just yet. But what they're going to ask for you to do is test those kids within 3 days, within 72 hours, up to 24 hours prior to sailing. So we had an appointment for her to get her tested. They do ask that it is either a PCR test or an NAAT test. It's the higher of the two. A rapid antigen test is not going to fly for that kind of testing there. So they do ask that you have that testing done within 3 days of sailing. So since we're sailing Monday, it would have been Friday for us opening that window. And they do need those results in hand and back before you sail. So keep that in mind. A lot of those PCR tests are going to tell you that they take anywhere between 1 to 2 days to get back. This is also falling on a holiday weekend, which kind of made us a little, iffy on how that was going to be and how that was going to kind of work out. So yeah, you want to be mindful of that if it's going to fall on a holiday or going to fall on a weekend and your sail date isn't until, early the next weekday morning. So we've been extra cautious about going out to the parks, about what we do regularly in our daily life. And our plans kind of got thwarted because 2 weeks ago, well, let me back all that up. Disney Cruise Line also has another clause in there that you can get an exemption, whether you're vaccinated or not, even if you're a child underage, for that testing 3 days prior or testing at port for anyone that is vaccinated. So if you're not testing as a child that's under vaccination requirements at 3 days to 24 hours before, then you are a adult or a child that is vaccinated sailing on these cruises. What they're asking you to do currently, right now, and this is going to change. So currently, right now, through June 7th sailings, is they're asking you, once you come in and you've uploaded all your documents online, they're setting the expectation you will be tested at port for COVID. I believe that Port Canaveral specifically has moved that testing to an antigen test. So just a quick nose swab. They should have those results within an hour or so for you, and then tell you if you're clear to sail or not, and then send you on your way. We're going to go over a few more scenarios to that here in just a minute, so hang tight with me there. So going back to the testing. Testing for 3 days to 24 hours for anyone 5 and younger. If you're vaccinated, because you have to be vaccinated if you're over 5 to sail on these cruises currently, they're going to test you at port. What happens if you've had COVID recently, though, right? So what they're finding is there are plenty of people that are testing as like a false positive after they've actually had COVID. So Disney has allowed for a window, so to speak, of 90 days to 11 days prior to sailing, that if you can provide them a positive COVID test result within that window, then you will be able to get a recently recovered status, and you can get a letter of recovery from your doctor. There's going to be some specific required guidelines to go over that, so hang tight with me on that notion for just a second. But you can only get that exemption if you have been cleared with or had COVID positive within 90 to 11 days prior to your sailing. So I said, our plans kind of got thwarted because Natalie got COVID. I've got some ideas on where she could have possibly picked that up. Full disclosure, thankfully, none of us had it as well, but she did. So when I tested her, she was positive. Devin was sick the very next day with flu. So I had to separate them at our house. But because she did have COVID, we needed that letter of recovery from her doctor. Let me try and pull this out here, and I'll show you just kind of briefly what that looks like. So you're going to want something from your doctor here, right? That's going to say, let me try and move some things out. So it's going to have your name. It's going to have that you tested positive. Right here, what I'm covering is birth date and any like sensitive information. So you need a positive test result to upload to Disney Cruise Line's Safe Passage, right? So on top of that, to get your letter of recovery, your doctor can write a note that says, hey, you know, this child with this birth date tested positive in our office for COVID-19 via whatever kind of test on X date. And then there's another clause in that says that they have to be cleared to travel by a certain date and be recently recovered. But then it also has to have the official letterhead from your doctor's office. It also has to be signed by a board certified health physician that's credited to be able to write these letters. It's also got to have the office's name, address, phone number where they can contact them. But the main thing in that is going to have to say, yes, they tested positive on this date. They are cleared to sail or cleared to travel by X date. So you'll have to have that in the letter. Otherwise, when you go online to upload that to Disney Cruise Line's version, now it's called Safe Passage, they won't approve that letter and you're going to be scrambling for another letter. So even though you're uploading all these documents in advance for your online check-in or the Safe Passage, which is where they're verifying not only your vaccine cards, but also letters of recovery and your birth certificates and all those kinds of things, you'll have to bring them with you to port as well, just in case they need them, right? So once you've been able to finish out all of your online check-in, you're going to have an option here to, let's see. Let me see if I can. You're going to have an option here to print out an online check-in form. You're going to have barcodes, but you can also pull them up online. So it's always helpful to have them printed, but you can pull them up online if you want. They're going to scan those once you get to port. The main thing is because of all this testing, when you're doing online check-in, you're going to get assigned a check-in arrival time. So ours isn't until 12:45, which means we don't check in until 12:45. End of discussion. Like if we come at 10 o'clock that morning, we're getting turned away. If we come at 11 o'clock that morning, we're getting turned away. So do not arrive any earlier than your reported check-in time. Ooh, there was some thunder. So that's going to be kind of key and important as well. So once you arrive and you get checked in, then you want to make sure that you have your online check-in codes to scan. At that point, they're going to direct you over to the tents where they're going to go ahead and proceed with any kind of testing that needs to be done. If you are, COVID free between that window, the 90 to 11 days, and no one under 5 that's not vaccinated doesn't have COVID, they're going to make sure that they check your Safe Passage website. It's dcl.com or dcl.safepassage.com. So you're uploading all your vaccine cards there and any kind of testing results there. If you're just arriving to Walt Disney World and you're kind of doing like a land and sea thing, you're doing a couple days at Disney, then you're going to go on a cruise and you're like, oh, panic, I need to go and get tested. I don't have a way to get there or anything close by, or what is close by. They do have several locations set up through Safe Passage through Inspire Diagnostics, which is the partner company here with Disney Cruise Line, that you can get tested and they can upload those test results within the appropriate window there. So you'll get tested at port upon arrival. Then they're going to send you back to your car and you're going to wait. And then you're going to check that Disney Cruise Line portal for the Safe Passage. And it's going to tell you that not only are you clear to arrive based on all of your documentation you provided earlier, once your test results come back, if everyone tests negative, you're going to have it pop up and say you're clear to sail. So once it says you're clear to sail, you're welcome to go ahead, make sure you bring all your belongings, make sure that your luggage is tagged, and bring it with you to the cruise terminal. So when you're booked, you're also going to get one of these super helpful things in the mail. It's going to tell you a little bit about your reservation, but most importantly, it's going to have your luggage tags here. So luggage tags are going to go on your luggage. They're going to provide 2 per person here. So like Devin and Jonathan are split in a room. So they've got 2 per person here on the luggage tags. I can tell you how to unfold them, put them around your luggage. Each bag needs to be tagged. I don't know that I've ever heard of a limit to these. If you don't have luggage tags though, you've cruised last minute, like you booked last minute, or this is kind of new, no worries at all. Don't worry about it. They will tag you at the port. Just let them know that these are your bags, your reservation number, and all that good kind of stuff is going to be in here as well. So you want to make sure you've got your luggage tags. You want to make sure you have all your appropriate identification documents with you. You want to make sure you have any vaccine cards on you. And thus far, make sure you have any online check-in forms or any kinds of letters of recovery or COVID positive forms if you have any of that. Now, remember, you can get those letters of recovery up to 90 days because they're seeing that some people have lingering symptoms, or for whatever reason, they're testing positive well after the recovery time. So the whole premise around that is Natalie would have had to have been tested 3 days prior. So because she had COVID before, there was a chance she could have tested positive again within the window that was the cutoff to actually safely sail. And they've said, we recognize that she's had it before. Now it's going to keep her from testing at port or beforehand and debarkation as well, because there's a chance she could falsely test positive. So that's all well and helpful to Bree. So you're going to go ahead, you're going to get checked in. They're going to breeze you on into the terminal, and then you're going to be allowed to get on the ship. So while you're waiting, there's a very solid chance your stateroom's not ready, and that's a-okay, because the best and forward-most thing that you could probably do is go and eat. So cabanas will be open. That is Disney Cruise Line's buffet. So I think that's where we're going to hit up first. We're just going to kind of get a lay of the land with the kids once we get settled in. And then once they've gotten everybody kind of checked in and all arrived, they're going to cut us off there and tell us a little bit about the arrival period and our sail away party. So we're hoping that we can kind of stream the sail away party for you, or at least show you as much as possible. No promises on how well that's going to go, because I can't guarantee that that's actually going to do very well for us, because we are going to be moving away from the land. So if that doesn't go as planned, please don't think that all hope is lost. We will definitely be making sure that we are filming all of that for you. So we'll film lots and lots and lots of things. So again, 4-day cruise. Our itinerary is just kind of, embarkation day, night at sea. The next night, we're going to wake up and we're going to be in Nassau. So we're going to kind of get off and explore. We don't have any kind of excursions booked for Nassau right now. Most of the things were taken by the time we booked, but also pro tip, keep checking that Disney Cruise Line Navigator app, because that's going to be your best friend. You're going to be able to go back, look and see what's available, not only for port excursions, but also things on board. So even pre-cruising, right? So keep checking, because other people cancel or move their dates potentially, and sometimes that frees up experiences. I think we're just going to kind of play that one by ear though for now. Then day 3, we're going to hit up Castaway Cay. So we've got lots of fun things planned there. While they're not officially doing the Castaway Cay 5K run, Kendall said that she's wanted to do that one. So they will allow you to do that individually and be able to, I think, still get the medals. So we're looking forward to that very, very soon. And we're going to go snorkeling for a bit. So we've got some snorkel equipment here. We actually opted to buy our own and make sure that we're bringing our own, not only because, people being sick, but Disney, I'm sure, does a fabulous job of cleaning those, but because that equipment is used over time so much, we've heard stories of how the water gets in the goggles or the snorkels. So we just figured, not only, just trying to be as sanitary as possible, but we're going to be using them over and over again. So we did get the kids a couple of sets so that way they could have them as well, the older kids. There's going to be lots and lots of stuff to do. I don't think that Scuttle's Cove is open just yet for the kids. So there is normally like a kids club that you can do there, or opt in for Castaway Cay, in case the adults just kind of want to meander over to the adults only section. But I don't believe that that's open just yet. But they do have cookies and cookies too open, so that way you can eat while you're there on Castaway Cay. Everything is going to get charged to the room whenever you check in. And when you do get all that set up, you're going to make sure that it is linked to your Key to the World card. So they don't do magic bands. It's going to be an actual card. So they are completely cashless over there. They're going to charge everything to your room. So if you buy souvenirs or if you buy, extra food or drinks, then you're going to want to make sure that you know that that's going to your room charges. So I guess that kind of takes care of that. Then we'll get back on the ship after day 3. Then we're going to have a whole day at sea. Oh, hold on just a second. Oh, sorry, guys. And then we're going to have a day at sea. And we're going to wake up and be at dock at 7 o'clock the next morning on Friday. So then they'll go ahead and start the debarkation process. It is what it is. So I'm hoping that this goes over pretty well with the kids. They seem pretty pumped. I'm really more so looking forward to the Beauty and the Beast show while we're on board. That's like my one thing that I want to do through this whole experience. Things that are different between Disney Cruise Line and Walt Disney World right now. As we've seen, Walt Disney World has reintroduced character interactions, more up close and personal, and signing autographs. Disney Cruise Line is still not doing that. So while you'll be allowed to take pictures with them, and you'll see that reflected in our pictures in our video, it's going to be kind of socially distanced as it has been before with Disney guests, where you can kind of stand off from them and take pictures kind of like this, if you will, and still no autographs. But they will, when you go into the Disney Cruise Line Navigator app, it's going to switch everything over for you. So it will recognize once you're on board, and it will become kind of your main communication device. Now you can turn everything off on your phone, like put it in airplane mode so you're not using data while you're at sea, but that Disney Cruise Line Navigator app will still work. You can also talk between rooms. So like if your kids kind of make friends with other people while they're on board the ship, they can actually go, hey Barbara, they can actually go and find their chat ID number and then be able to chat between staterooms. But just make sure that if you do make really, really good friends, that you exchange, emails or something, some way to communicate with each other if you want to stay in touch beyond that. A lot of people get on board these ships and they make really, really good friends. So you want to make sure that you have a way to stay in touch with folks. Another thing too that people really like to opt in for, and we can touch on this more a little bit like once we're on board, is fish extenders. So it might be a little overwhelming for your very first cruise, but if you are an avid cruiser, this is something that becomes a regular thing for you and your family, then you might want to be interested in signing up for a fish extender group. So a lot of these Disney Cruise Line cruises, and most cruises, have programs set up where they can do like a small swap program. So you'll get little trinkets or little notes or different things to kind of pass around to other staterooms. You'll sign up, they've got a list, they'll give you a list of different staterooms to pass things around to. So a lot of people put out bags, they put out like little pouches, so to speak. Sometimes they're per family, sometimes they're individual gifts. I've seen like little Disney duckies. I've seen little notepads and stuff. People will leave like magnetized dry erase markers and boards like, hey, we'll be back at the room at such and such time, or this is our agenda for the day, or, meet us here, something like that. If you make friends and you want to leave them a message, so to speak. But they'll pass around the different gifts. Sometimes it's the first day, sometimes it comes, multiple days throughout the cruise. So you'll want to make sure that you know what your group's rules look like whenever you sign up for those things. So I think that's pretty much it. So because you're getting settled in with Disney Cruise Line, here's the highlights. You book your cruise. You download the Disney Cruise Line Navigator app. You make sure you go in through the website and you start the online check-in process, either through the app or through the phone. It's going to ask you for documentations, pictures like a security photo, all your identification documents all uploaded online. Then Disney Cruise Line will let you know if those are approved or if they're denied for whatever reason. Like where I wear sunglasses on my head a lot, I can't have my sunglasses on my head when I take that picture. So they'll deny my picture. So you want to be aware of that when you're taking all those. And of course, they'll let you know that if it's not an appropriate or an acceptable picture for there. Again, everything that you're taking pictures of, you want to bring with you to cruise. Everyone age 5 and older currently need to be vaccinated for these cruises, and you will be tested again at port. Now that is getting ready to change as of June 7th for sailings. So what's changing is currently right now, Disney Cruise Line is able to test you at port. So we will get tested at the port at no cost of our own. Disney Cruise Line is taking care of that. As of June 7th, any guest that intends to sail on Disney Cruise Line will need to test at their own expense 2 days prior to sailing and upload those test results to the Safe Passage website. So that is changing. Know that that's going to be a thing. I think they're trying to lax those rules just a little bit and give you a little bit more flexibility too. Oh no, Barbara said she's in and out. I didn't hear. What day did we go to Castaway Cay? I'll get back to that. So you want to make sure you've got all your documents, make sure you're testing when you're supposed to. If you've had COVID within the past 90 to 11 days prior to your sail date, make sure that you have your positive test and a letter of recovery. Remember, that has to have some key points of information, so you'll want to check the Disney Cruise Line's Know Before You Go website and make sure that you know exactly what that looks like. But the cutoff there is 11 days prior to testing, because they consider a fully recovered status 10 days out from a positive test result. So if anybody's going to test positive, you have up until day 11 to test positive, okay? If you test positive for COVID at the port, no worries. Disney Cruise Line is fully committed to working with you right now. They're going to give you some options. They're going to give you an option to either keep your cruise credit and move your cruise to a different day, or get your money back. So they've been doing a phenomenal job at helping those that are finding out that they're positive or a member in their party is positive whenever they get to port. So just be aware that can be a thing, and it does happen a lot more often than what you think. And if you go with that expectation and you know what your options are, it kind of helps lessen that blow a little bit, and helps you make a little bit more of a thought out process than just being kind of hit like a ton of bricks there. So bring your documentation, make sure you've done the online check-in, make sure you've printed everything. So not only is the online check-in form going to have barcodes, you're also going to have a separate barcode when you get to the port for the Safe Passage and for Inspired Diagnostics. So as of right now, they're going to ask you to pull up that barcode to scan it and test you when you get to port. I'll be interested to find out as of June 7th, since they're asking you to test a couple days prior to coming in for anyone that's over 5, if they're going to ask you to upload that documentation into the Safe Passage site and still give them that QR code to scan. My guess is they probably will, just to verify, but I'm hoping that kind of makes that process a little bit faster. So once you've gotten the clear to sail through the Disney Cruise Line Safe Passage website, then you're able to go ahead, bring everything with you, make sure that you are there at the terminal. They'll direct you on up. You're good to go and get on the ship. So our current itinerary is 4 nights, night at sea, Nassau, Castaway Cay on day 3, day at sea, and then debarkation on day 5. So I will have very, very, very limited connectivity there. Disney Cruise Line does offer different kinds of packages for internet. It's not very good though, and it's not very reliable, and it's not very much. So in accordance with not only their data packages, you want to make sure that you're checking with your cell providers as well, just to see what kind of roaming charges you could incur in case you're looking to glance at an email, make an emergency phone call, just check in on things at home. So yeah, make sure of what that all looks like. However, pro tip, per stateroom, and it's only able to be done the very first day of check-in, you can sign up for the Disney Cruise Line internet, and they'll give you a complimentary, I think it's like 200 megabytes, but it's per stateroom. You can only sign up for it on day 1. Also, another pro tip, if you're looking to opt in for their kind of version of Memory Maker, the photo package, you'll want to do that in advance, because you do incur a discounted rate than if you were to wait until after you get off the ship and try and purchase your photos after that. Don't worry, your photos will still be there either way, whether you purchase them or not, but you'll have them watermarked until you actually purchase them, whether that be before or after the fact. Disney does something that's really, really cool called rotational dining. So we're going to have different places that we're going to be dining in each night of our stay on top of the cabanas buffet. So each night we're going to have a different location that we're dining in, but we'll keep the same server and wait staff. Our gratuities have already been prepaid. You can pay more on top of those if you want to. So you just make sure that you bring that in cash for them, or you make arrangements with guest services once you get to the ship. But they're going to learn your drinks. They're going to learn your order. They're phenomenal about food allergies. So make sure that you make them aware of all those things once you come out and talk with, or once they come out and talk with you a little bit further about your meals that first night. So that way they can not only remember, but make sure that your experience is as enjoyable as possible. I've heard that popcorn has returned to Disney Cruise Line through the Disney Dream. So it's very helpful. Another pro tip, to bring one of those souvenir popcorn buckets that you know I'm going to be doing. So they can refill those popcorn buckets for you now. I think it's like a $2 charge for a bucket of popcorn. So not only do they have a Broadway-esque style theater show a couple times on the ship through your itinerary, but they're also going to have a movie theater. So if you'd like to do that, you can purchase extra snacks like different candies, you know, movie theater snacks, candy bars, M&Ms, things like that. But then if you wanted to bring your souvenir popcorn bucket from Walt Disney World, if you've been there for a couple days or before, you can do that and they can refill that for you. Let's see. If you're going to be there, their drinks are self-service for you, but it's also super, super, super helpful to bring a tumbler. So you want to bring an insulated tumbler. We use like a corksicle one. Jonathan's got like a Vineyard Vines one. I think we've got Yeti and different other like Ozark Trail brands. I think that's Walmart. So you've seen them, the little pop top lids, the like canister looking things. They're very helpful. What they're going to ask you to do is fill up one of their paper cups though first, and then dump it into your cup. Just helps keep it cooler longer. You're going to know which cup is yours, and then be a little less wasteful so you can recycle the cup, the paper cup after the fact. But it helps kind of distinguish your cup and be able to go off, you know, and keep it colder a little bit longer with you. The Oceaneer Club is the kids club on board. So our kids are going to be signed up for Oceaneer Club. Ooh, that kind of brings me to another point. If you're looking to kind of take part in the Oceaneer Club, there's going to be a separate document that's going to need to be signed. Let me get this one out because I haven't even filled it out yet. And it's going to be for emergencies. So it's going to allow Disney Cruise Line permissions to administer an EpiPen if at all necessary. So you'll want to make sure that you have that filled out. Kid's name, the Youth Activity Center, all of their pertinent information down here. And you're going to need one for each child too. So bear that in mind if that's something that you're looking to take advantage of while on board. You can also give kids, or not give kids, abilities to charging privileges to your stateroom. So make sure that you are fully aware that's going to be totally in your online check-in. Same thing with being able to check themselves in and out of the kids club. So if you trust your child, they're older, you know, teen, tween, and you can trust them to kind of go back and forth. You don't want to be the one to come and pick them up and bring them back. You can allow them abilities to sign themselves in and out. There's lots of things to do on board the ship that are included, like putt-putt, like the theater, like basketball, swimming, fitness centers, food. You know, you've already paid for all those things. That's why these cruises are so phenomenal, including drinks. A lot of sodas and drink packages on board other cruise ships cost extra outside of like water and tea and lemonade. So this is a phenomenal deal that we're getting here. And we'll go through all that more so in our videos a little bit later on. But yeah, we're really, really excited. I just wanted to hop on really briefly, kind of take you through what our experience has been. So, you know, I wish I could have said that this was kind of a like cut and dry, like we booked, we uploaded our documents, everything was great and fine and dandy, and now we're so, you know, ready to go. But we did hit a snag along the way. So I'm thankful for that experience. Unfortunately, I mean, thankfully, Nat was a very very mild case of COVID, but it gave us true insight as to how Disney is handling this, because full disclosure, I got 3 different answers when I called Disney Cruise Line, because I even freaked out. And I was like, oh my gosh, am I within what I need? Like, I'm triple checking what I do need. I'm reading everything on the website, but I'd never been faced with that kind of situation before. So when I called, the first 2 representatives that I spoke with said, nope, you're going to need to move your cruise. And I was like, well, then your information's pretty misleading, because it says I have up until 11 days to test positive. And essentially, I can see how the verbiage is kind of sticky. And I kind of got a little testy with them. I was like, look, this says 90 to 11 days. And I'm telling you, at like day 16, she's positive, not 11. I could see it if it was 10. I could see it if it was 9. But we're talking like day 16. And they were like, yeah, but she's got to be fully recovered by day 11. And I'm like, well, that's not the way it reads. So I asked to speak with the manager, and then he also told me the exact same thing. And I do feel for them, because they were only going on the information they had, which it sounded like could be interpreted multiple different ways, because I was interpreting the information separate from the way they were. And then I asked to speak with his manager, who then did inform me that I was right. As long as that was uploaded and positive by day 11, we were covered. Now, what I still had questions outstanding on was, did it have to be positive by day 11? And did I need a letter of recovery by day 11? And the short answer to that is no, you did not. So as long as they are tested positive, you have a positive test result in hand by day 11 prior to sailing, you can get that letter of recovery after day 11. But it does need to be uploaded at least, they said 3 days because of safe passage, checking over all the documents, but as soon as possible, and definitely before you go to cruise, because they're going to need for clearance on that. You're going to need the positive test result stating that it's within 11 to 90 days prior to your sail date, and that letter of recovery with all the correct information. So just because you have that letter doesn't mean that it's been filled out correctly. You're going to want to go back. You're going to make sure that you work with your physician on all the information that you need if they're not familiar with it, which ours unfortunately was not. They were like, this is the first time we're writing this kind of letter. So I had to kind of give them the guidelines of what Disney needed. It's got to have the name of the clinic or office. It's got to have their address, got to have their phone number, got to have them sign it. That was a huge thing, but it also has to be signed by a board certified health professional. So it can't just be an office staff signing that. Sometimes they like to sign it for those doctors. So make sure that that's the thing. But the real kicker there is going to be, they did test positive on this date. They are fully recovered by this date, and they are clear to travel, clear to sail, clear to travel. If it doesn't have those kinds of information in there, again, check the Know Before You Go website. It's going to have all those high points of the guidelines there that you need for that, but it's going to have to read exactly how Disney asks that it be specified for Inspired Diagnostics to approve that through their Safe Passage website. Otherwise, you're scrambling to get another letter. So know that if you're faced with that, then those are the high points of information that you need. You're going to be tested at port, but as of June 7th, they're going to ask that you test 2 days prior to and upload that to Safe Passage. You're probably going to be asked for that barcode along with your online check-in barcode still at port to fully get checked in. And if you were to test positive beforehand or at port, then no worries. Disney will work with you to either help you move your sail dates and your travel dates for a future cruise within the guidelines there. It's got to be at least 11 days out from the current one that you're testing positive from, or get a full refund back. So this is going to be where travel protection is going to be very important, along with other things like if you're flying in, you get weather delayed, or you have luggage that gets lost or something like that. All those things that travel protection typically covers, they'll work with you to Disney Cruise Line will separately on top of that. You do not necessarily need a passport to be able to cruise. However, if you were to get sick or have an emergency or miss the boat or miss the ship, your boarding time from your port, you're going to be stuck in a foreign country. So you want to make sure that if you don't have a passport, you are making that boarding time for your ship. Otherwise, you are up a creek. And then you'll have to work with the U.S. Embassy to try and help get you passage back to either the next port of call or back home. That is also going to be expensive. So highly recommend, if you're cruising, highly recommend lining up some passports in the near future for you. So I hope that's helpful too. While it's not necessary, you're going to want it if there is an emergency that arises. So I think we're going to cut this kind of short. I hope this was helpful. Our itinerary is night at sea, day 1, and then day 2, technically Nassau, day 3, Castaway Cay, and day 4, day at sea. So, and then Friday we get off the ship. So I'm really sad that I won't be able to interact with you all as much during that time, but I'm also really looking forward to our family having some time together. I think this is Jonathan's first vacation, not just like a staycation for a day or a couple days here in years multiple, like 3 years. So we're really, really excited to get away, have some time with just us. If we're not able to stream the sailaway party, we certainly will get as much video for you as possible, including all of that. Even if it's just choppy, we'll make sure that we do right by you so we can include you on all the things. But we also want to give you a really kind of comprehensive experience for not only just the ship in general, but the experiences each day. So you can expect at least a video from each day's experiences and dining, and we'll probably have separate food reviews and separate videos specific to like the kids areas or the Bippity Boppy Boutique, because that one is still available on board, and the port excursions, things like that we're going to do while we're out at Castaway Cay and at Nassau. So you'll definitely want to make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure that your notification bell is rung so that way you don't miss any of those videos, whether they be live or uploaded in the future. So thank you guys so much for your patience here with us and allowing us to take this vacation and this time off and spend it all together. And my hope is that while we're still docked, we'll have our staterooms assigned and ready. Well, they're already assigned, but they'll be ready for us. So that way I can take you kind of on a real more live, in-depth, in-the-moment tour of what those look like and where we're going to be in proximity on the ship. Because not everybody has the same proximity interests too. So we'll get into that more when we actually get on the ship. So here's to hoping we all have a fabulous time breezing onto the ship after our testing tomorrow. So we're really excited, and I'm really excited for you all to be able to see it unfold as well. But oh, thank you, Barbara. She said, have a great, safe, and fun trip. Please, 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 guys, we are so, so, so close. We can taste it to hitting a huge, huge milestone for this channel. So the very best thing that I could ever ask for you to do is make sure that you're watching our videos, make sure that you're sharing them with your friends, families, acquaintances, make sure you're sprinkling those on social media so that way we can not only keep our community growing, but making sure that we're able to get the right kind of content out to the people that are looking to see this. So I know that we try and have something for everybody. So now we're trying our sea legs out for good measure here and switching it up from the actual theme parks. So wish me luck. But yeah, I think that's where we're going to leave it for now. So I hope you all have an amazing Sunday evening and an even better Memorial Day tomorrow, and happy Memorial Day to you all, especially for those that we are remembering for their service and active, retired, past duties, lost in service. We would appreciate you all. So thank you so much for all of that and your dedication to us. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. So thanks for letting me pop on. I think I'm going to hop off because I'm hearing the storms even more towards our way now. And we'll catch you guys on the next ride. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.